Wait, humans reproduce like that. Can I try too? Adorable aliens questioned Sci-Fi, HFY Story. The human research ship moved slowly through quiet space, its white lights glowing against the dark. Inside, the air was calm, filled with low voices and soft machine sounds. This ship was not built for war or speed. It was built for learning. Humans had named it a place of meeting, where different minds could sit together without fear. A small group of aliens stood inside the main discussion hall. Their shapes were gentle and rounded, with soft skin that changed color when they felt emotion. The humans had learned that brighter shades meant excitement or worry. Duller shades meant calm. Right now, most of them glowed a careful blue. One of them was smaller than the rest. His name was Lumo. He had wide eyes and short limbs, and he tilted his head often when humans spoke. He was young by his people's standards, young enough to still ask questions that older ones no longer asked. Across from him sat several humans. One of them was named Hale. Hale was not a soldier. He wore simple clothes and kept his hands open on the table. His voice was steady and slow, chosen carefully so the translators could work well. "This exchange is about understanding," Hale said. "There are no wrong questions here." The alien leader beside Lumo shifted color slightly, turning a deeper blue. He nodded once. "We will observe," the leader said. "Questions are permitted." The discussion began with easy things: food, sleep, how humans healed wounds, how aliens shared knowledge through shared memory pools. Lumo listened quietly, eyes bright. He absorbed every word. When Hale explained how humans lived in small family groups, Lumo leaned forward. "You stay together for many cycles?" Lumo asked. "Yes," Hale replied. "Often for life." Lumo's skin flickered pale yellow, the color of surprise. "Even when it is inefficient," Hale smiled softly. "Even then." There was a pause. The other aliens exchanged looks. Humans waited. Lumo lifted one small hand. "I have another question," he said. The alien leader hesitated. "This topic may be sensitive." Hale nodded. "If it helps understanding, we will answer as best we can." Lumo took a breath. His translator hummed. "Wait," Lumo said slowly. "Humans reproduce like that, with choice and bonding and long care." The room went silent. Machines continued to hum, but no one spoke. Human eyes widened. A few humans shifted in their seats, not because the question was rude, but because they realized how large it was. Lumo continued, unaware of the tension. "On my world, reproduction is assigned. It is scheduled. Emotional attachment is limited. You are saying humans choose who they bond with, and they stay to protect the young for many cycles." "Yes," Hale said carefully. Lumo's skin changed rapidly, bright colors moving across it. "Why would you do this? It seems dangerous, painful." Hale leaned back slightly. "Because the young need time, and because we believe responsibility matters." "Responsibility," Lumo repeated. The translator paused, then continued. "A chosen burden." "Yes," Hale said. "A chosen promise." The alien leader raised one hand. "This subject is drifting." Lumo turned to him. "It is important." The leader looked surprised. "Explain." Lumo's voice softened. "Humans survive disasters, wars, long hardships. Their young do not emerge ready. They must be taught, protected, loved." The word "loved" caused several aliens to shift color. Hale spoke again. "Our young are weak at first, that is true, but they grow in care, and those bonds make us strong later." The leader studied Hale for a long moment. "This is inefficient," he said. "Maybe," Hale replied, "but it works." Lumo looked between them. "If it works," he said, "then it is not weak." The silence returned, heavier this time. Unknown to those in the room, far beyond the ship, a council chamber watched the exchange through streams of data. Tall figures stood around a glowing display. Symbols flashed as Lumo spoke. One figure pointed. "The young one shows abnormal interest." "Curiosity is expected," another replied. "This is not normal curiosity," a third said. "This is emotional engagement." Back on the ship, the discussion continued, though carefully now. Humans explain childhood, teaching, mistakes, second chances. Lumo listened as if each word was precious. Humans stay even when the young cause harm, Lumo asked. Yes, Hale said, because learning takes time, and if the young fail, then we try again. Lumo's eyes widened. His skin glowed warm gold, a color the humans had not seen before. That is kind, Lumo said. The alien leader stood. This session is complete. Humans rose as well. The aliens began to leave. Lumo lingered, staring at the table, deep in thought. Hale noticed. Are you all right? Lumo looked up. You said there are no wrong questions. That is true. Then I will ask another one later, Hale smiled. We will be here. As Lumo turned to follow his group, his translator device flickered briefly. A small alert appeared, unseen by him. Emotional anomaly detected. In the distant council chamber, the alert sounded loudly. The subject is forming value conflict, one council member said. Isolate, another asked. Not yet, the first replied. Observe. Back on the ship, Lumo paused at the doorway. He looked back once more at the humans, at their calm faces and open posture. For the first time in his life, Lumo wondered if survival was not the highest goal. The ship drifted on through space, unaware that a single innocent question had begun something that could not be undone. Lumo sat quietly in the corner of the human ship's observation lounge. The room had large windows looking out into the endless black of space, dotted with stars that twinkled faintly. He watched each point of light, his mind busy with thoughts. He kept turning over the words he had heard earlier about humans' choice and bonds. Nothing on his world compared. Everything there was planned and assigned. There was no chance, no risk. But humans chose to take risks for others, and that puzzled him. A human named Rin approached. Rin was smaller than most humans on the ship, with warm brown eyes and a calm manner. She held a simple device that displayed floating diagrams. Lumo tilted his head as she came closer. Would you like to see how we explain life cycles? Rin asked softly. Lumo's translator hummed. I would like that. Rin smiled and placed the device on a small table. Light diagrams showed circles and lines connecting different points. Rin did not speak in complex terms. She told stories instead. She talked about families, how humans raised their young, how parents learned patience and care over time. Lumo's skin shifted from pale blue to gentle green as he listened. Why do humans stay with their young for so long? He asked. Rin considered. Because it works. We help each other grow. The young are not born ready. They need teaching. They need love. And through love, they become strong. Lumo's eyes grew wider. His skin flickered warm gold. Love, does it make humans stronger? Yes, Rin said. It makes us willing to fight for each other, to survive together. Lumo's mind spun. On his world, attachment caused distraction, weakness. Humans seemed different. He could not understand fully, but a small excitement grew inside him. He wanted to learn more. As Rin continued, Lumo noticed other aliens in the room shifting their colors uneasily. Trek, a tall alien with long limbs, leaned closer to Lumo. You must be careful, Trek whispered. The council does not like unusual emotional interest. Lumo shook his head. I need to understand, this is not just curiosity. Trek's skin pulsed a dull red. Do not say that out loud, they will report it. Lumo glanced back at Rin. She was showing him a story of a human child learning to walk, falling, and then being encouraged to try again. Each fall was met with calm words, gentle hands, and the promise of patience. Lumo's small hand twitched, and he leaned closer. How can you be so patient with failure? He asked. Rin smiled softly. Because trying is more important than succeeding immediately. Every failure teaches something new. Lumo's color shifted again to bright yellow. Your people grow stronger through care, not avoidance. Yes, Rin replied. We grow stronger because we care. Lumo thought of his world where failure was punished, where emotion was limited. Humans were like nothing he had ever seen. They were chaotic, unpredictable, and yet they survived. Not by avoiding problems, but by facing them together. A strange warmth filled him, and he realized he wanted to be part of that in some way. While they talked, an alert blinked faintly on Rin's device. She glanced at it and frowned. "It's coming from your council," she said softly. "They are monitoring you. Lumo, you might be in trouble if they see too much emotional engagement." Lumo's skin flickered pale blue, a color of worry. "Trouble?" "Yes," Rin said. "They do not like their young to feel more than necessary." Lumo paused. He thought of the calm patience of the humans. They were willing to face emotional risk, and yet his people feared emotion as if it were a weapon. "I do not want to be returned," he said quietly. "I want to learn, I want to see." Rin placed a hand gently near his. "Then you will have to be careful, they will test you." Lumo's mind raced. A mixture of fear and excitement. The idea of challenge made his skin glow a brighter color. He wanted to see more, to understand more. He wanted to know what it felt like to live the human way, even a little. Later, Lumo returned to his quarters, but his thoughts would not rest. He replayed the stories Rin told, the images of patience, care, and love. For the first time, he wondered if attachment was not weakness. Maybe humans were stronger because of it. The idea fascinated him and frightened him. In the distant council chamber on his home world, a tall figure observed streams of data coming from the ship. Lumo's engagement was flagged immediately. "Lumo shows abnormal behavior," said one council member. "Curiosity," another asked. "More than curiosity, emotional engagement. He is being influenced by humans." The council murmured among themselves. They had rules. Young ones were not allowed to be influenced by outsiders. Lumo's fascination was dangerous. It could disrupt the way their society functioned. They debated quietly but firmly. For now, they would observe, but their patience was limited. Back on the ship, Lumo slept poorly. His dreams were filled with images of humans, of care and connection, of warmth and choices that made no sense on his world. He awoke with a sense of urgency. He needed more knowledge, more understanding. He wanted to see what humans valued so deeply. Rin found him at breakfast. "You look restless," she said. "Did you sleep well?" Lumo shook his head. "I need to see more, to learn more." Rin smiled. "Then we will continue today, but remember, you must be careful. Others are watching." They walked together through the ship, watching humans at work. Engineers fixed circuits, children of human families worked in simulation pods, and everyone interacted with gentle patience. Lumo noticed that humans did not rush. They taught, guided, and waited. Their strength was in their calm determination. "Do you see?" Rin asked. "We do not just survive, we help each other grow, even through mistakes." "Yes," Lumo said. "I think I am beginning to understand." But understanding brought new questions. What would his people say if they saw him thinking this way? What risks would he face? Lumo felt a small fear, the first real fear he had ever known. And with that fear came curiosity, a determination to continue. He would learn, no matter the obstacles. As the day ended, Lumo returned to his room once more. He looked out the window at the stars. His mind was filled with questions about humans, about life, about strength through care. And deep inside, a quiet excitement began to grow. He knew that what he had learned today would change him forever, and perhaps, if he could survive the council's scrutiny, it could change others too. The stars blinked silently as the human ship drifted onward, carrying lessons that could one day ripple across worlds. Lumo's small hand rested on the glass and he whispered quietly to himself, translated by the device, "I will learn, I will see, I will understand." In that moment, somewhere far away, the council stirred. They had noticed. They would not ignore this for long. Lumo's journey of curiosity and defiance had only just begun. The next day on the human ship, Lumo awoke to a gentle hum of machinery and soft light filtering through the observation windows. His mind was busy as ever, turning over the lessons he had learned and the stories Rin had told him. He felt a strange mixture of excitement and unease, knowing that the council was watching, that any misstep could have consequences, yet unable to resist the pull of understanding humans. Rin arrived first, carrying a small tablet that displayed moving illustrations. "Good morning," she said. "Are you ready to see more today?" Lumo's translator hummed softly. "Yes, I want to see everything." They walked through the ship corridors, observing humans working together, solving problems, sharing ideas, and helping each other without command or control. Lumo's skin shifted through shades of gold and green, bright and alive. This was different from his world. On his planet, young ones were told what to do, when to act, and what to feel. Here, humans seemed free yet disciplined, patient yet determined. He stopped suddenly. "Why do you take risks for others?" he asked. "It could be dangerous, it could hurt you." Rin smiled. "Because it is worth it. We care for each other. Strength is not only in the body but in the bond we share." Lumo processed this, blinking several times. "Bond, emotional bond, that is considered power." "Yes," Rin said. "It makes us capable of things we could not do alone." As they walked, Lumo noticed Trek, the tall alien observer, glancing at him sharply. Trek's skin flickered red and his eyes narrowed. Lumo knew that the council would not be pleased if they detected his deep interest in human ways. Yet he felt something new, a quiet defiance. He wanted to keep learning, even if it meant risking trouble. Later, he was summoned to a private viewing room. The walls were soft, glowing panels, and the air was cooler. There, 3 council representatives appeared on the screen, their voices deep and firm. "Lumo," one began, "your behavior is under review. You show interest in human emotional practices that are not permitted for your age." Lumo's skin turned a pale shade of blue, signaling worry. "I wish only to understand," he said softly. "I am not breaking laws, only learning." "You are influenced by humans," another said. "You risk contamination of thought. This could affect the stability of your society." "I see," Lumo replied. "But learning is the only way to understand. Do humans harm those who learn too much?" The council was silent for a moment. "In some cases, memory resets are applied to prevent interference." Lumo's eyes widened. His small limbs trembled. "Reset? My experiences, my understanding would be erased." "Yes," the council said firmly. "Compliance is necessary." Fear rushed through him, a new feeling, unfamiliar but sharp. Lumo's skin shifted rapidly to deep red and then to dull purple. He realized that he had to make a choice: comply and forget, or resist and face consequences. But the thought of forgetting what he had learned about care, love, and choice made him shiver. He could not do it. "I cannot," he said quietly. "I must remember, I must understand. I will not be reset." The council's voices grew sharper. "You defy authority. You will be removed." Back on the ship, the humans were unaware of the council's plans. Lumo's interaction with Rin had drawn attention, but they only noticed his restless energy. He returned to Rin, eyes wide, trembling slightly. "They want to erase my memory," he said. "I cannot allow it. I want to remember everything. I need to see more." Rin's expression softened. "Then we will help you, but you must be careful. The council does not understand what humans do. They will try to enforce their rules." Lumo nodded. "I understand. I will be careful." That evening, Lumo wandered through the observation lounge alone. Stars glimmered outside the window, infinite and distant. He remembered every story Rin had shared, every moment he had observed humans interacting, every act of care, patience, and risk. The memory of the human child falling, then being encouraged to try again, played over and over in his mind. It filled him with determination. A soft voice spoke from the doorway. "You cannot hide forever," Trek said, stepping into the light. His skin glimmered red with caution. "The council is watching. They will act if they detect defiance." Lumo did not look away. "I must continue learning. Humans show strength I cannot ignore. I will face what comes." Trek's eyes softened slightly. "You are brave, young one, but bravery alone may not protect you." Lumo's color shifted to gold again, a sign of his resolve. I will be ready. He returned to his quarters that night, but sleep would not come easily. Dreams of human warmth and care filled his mind, mixed with images of the council's stern faces and the threat of memory erasure. Yet he clung to hope. Even fear could not erase the fascination, the spark of curiosity that humans had ignited within him. Meanwhile, on his home world, the council convened a new meeting. The young one resists, a tall figure said. His mind is engaging with alien concepts that may destabilize him. He could influence others if we do not act. Observation is no longer sufficient, another voice said. We must act. Immediate removal is required. Back on the ship, Lumo felt the growing tension. The realization of what was coming pressed on him. Yet alongside fear, there was excitement, a determination to understand humans, to carry their lessons with him, and to face whatever consequences might come. He looked out at the stars and whispered softly, translated through his device. I will not forget. I will learn, even if it is dangerous. Humans are teaching me strength in ways I never knew. The human ship continued to glide silently through space, unaware that a single young alien's curiosity had begun a chain of events that could change his life, and perhaps the relationship between worlds. Lumo's journey had moved from learning to defiance, from curiosity to courage, and the Council's response would soon test him in ways he had never imagined. The ship drifted through the blackness of space, the hum of its engines gentle but steady. Lumo stood near the observation window, staring at distant stars. His mind was heavy with worry and determination. The council of his people had made it clear they would remove him if he continued to engage with humans the way he had. Yet, the thought of forgetting all he had learned from Rin and others was unbearable. Rin approached quietly, holding a small tablet with floating images. Lumo, she said softly, we need to talk. Lumo turned, his skin shifting a soft gold. I know, they may try to remove me, I cannot let that happen. Rin nodded. We will act carefully. You have learned much about human ways. Now you must show the council that your learning is not a threat. How? Lumo asked. They do not understand humans, they see care as weakness. Then we show them strength through care, Rin said. Humans survive because of bonds, because of patience, because of courage without weapons. We can use that principle now. The next day, Lumo was summoned to a conference room. The walls glowed softly, and human leaders were present alongside the council's virtual representatives. One council figure spoke first. Lumo, your attachment to human concepts is unacceptable. You risk contaminating your thought processes. Compliance is required. Lumo felt fear rise, but he stood taller. I will not comply, he said. I have learned that understanding, caring, and choice are strengths, not weaknesses. I am not harmed by these lessons. I am stronger. The room went silent. Human leaders exchanged glances. A tall woman named Mara stepped forward. She spoke calmly but firmly. Council, Lumo has learned from our ways. He is not a danger. In fact, his understanding shows insight, courage, and intelligence. Erasing these lessons would be an injustice. The council representatives flickered with unreadable colors. One spoke sharply. This is not your concern, human. You have no authority over our young. Mara met the virtual gaze evenly. Humans do not erase questions. We answer them. We do not punish curiosity. If your society fears learning, it is your weakness, not his. Lumo's skin brightened with hope. The council's tone grew tense. For the first time, they paused. The human argument, simple and firm, forced them to consider a different way of thinking. Lumo realized that humans without weapons or threats had shown power through their confidence and moral clarity. Trek stepped forward, quietly supporting Lumo. His color pulsed soft green, indicating cautious approval. You are correct, Trek said to the council. The young one has shown courage. He is aware of the risks, yet he persists. This is not weakness. One council member hesitated. Observation suggests they are correct, but this defiance cannot go unchecked. What is your proposal? Mara smiled softly. Allow Lumo to continue learning under our guidance. He will remain under observation, but he will not be punished or reset. He will choose what to retain and what to understand. The room was tense, silent, and the council seemed to deliberate for a long while. Finally, the lead council figure spoke. Very well, observation will continue, but any interference in our laws will be dealt with severely. The young one remains here for now. Lumo exhaled slowly. Relief warmed his small body. He had survived the council's first test. But he knew this was only the beginning. Learning had brought danger, but it had also brought opportunity. He would continue, and he would grow stronger in ways he had never imagined. Later, Lumo walked with Rin through the ship's garden dome. Plants swayed gently and small lights mimicked stars. Rin spoke softly. You have shown them something new. Humans survive through care, yes, but also through courage. You have that courage now, Lumo. Lumo nodded, his skin shining a golden hue. I understand now. Courage is not only fighting, it is standing for what you believe in, even when fear is present. Rin placed a gentle hand near his. Exactly, and you are learning more every day. But remember, the council will not forget this easily. You must remain vigilant. I will, Lumo said. I will continue to learn and to show that care is strength. As night fell, Lumo returned to his observation window. He gazed at the stars, each one a distant sun, a distant world. For the first time, he felt hope mingled with determination. He knew that humans had taught him lessons that were impossible to forget. They had shown him that choice, courage, and care were more powerful than fear or strict control. Far away, in his home world, the council continued to debate quietly. Lumo's persistence had shaken some of their certainty. Some members whispered to each other, questioning old traditions. A small change had begun, planted by a single young alien who dared to challenge rules and learn from humans. On the ship, Lumo lay down but did not sleep immediately. His mind swirled with lessons, with questions about life, and with determination. He was no longer just curious. He was aware, courageous, and ready to face whatever came next. Humans had taught him more than facts. They had shown him a new way to live, even as a young alien far from home. The stars outside twinkled quietly. The ship drifted through space, carrying knowledge, courage, and a single alien's resolve. Lumo whispered softly, translated by his device, I will continue, I will grow, I will understand humans, and in that I will find strength. The galaxy around them remained silent, but something had shifted. Lessons had been learned, courage had been shown, and the ripple of change had begun. Lumo's journey was far from over, but the first step, the hardest step, had been taken. The human ship floated silently through space, stars streaking past like diamonds against the darkness. Lumo stood near the observation window, thinking deeply. He had learned so much about humans, about choice, care, courage, and the strength that came from bonds. Every lesson was now a part of him, shaping his mind and spirit. Rin approached, holding a small device that displayed gentle moving images of human life. Lumo, she said softly, today is different. The council has made their decision. They will no longer try to erase your knowledge, but you must continue to learn carefully. Lumo's translator hummed in surprise. They will allow me to stay. Yes, Rin said. They understand, at least partially, that your engagement with humans is not harmful. You have shown courage, wisdom, and strength. Lumo's skin glowed warm gold, a sign of happiness and relief. He had never felt pride like this before. The thought that he could remain and learn freely made his small heart beat faster. They walked together through the ship's corridors. Humans were at work, quietly going about their tasks. Some were teaching, some were learning, and some were caring for the youngest among them. Lumo watched each action carefully, noticing details he had missed before. The patience in human hands, the gentle tone of voices, the steady presence even when mistakes were made, it all fascinated him. Rin stopped near the garden dome. The plants swayed lightly, and small lights mimicked the stars outside. Lumo, she said, you have grown since the first day. You understand now that humans are strong because they care, not in spite of it but because of it. Yes, Lumo replied. I see it clearly now. Bonding, choice, patience, they are not weaknesses, they are strength. Courage is not just in facing danger, but in standing for what is right, even when it is difficult. A soft hum alerted them to the presence of Trek, who had quietly come to observe. His skin pulsed a cautious green. You have done well, Lumo, he said. The council has been forced to reconsider. Your courage and learning have made a difference. Lumo's eyes widened. Difference? I only wanted to understand. Sometimes understanding is more powerful than defiance, Trek said. You have planted an idea, others will follow. Change may come slowly, but it begins with one small spark. Lumo felt a warmth in his chest. For the first time, he realized that his curiosity, his willingness to learn, had impact beyond himself. It was a small light, but it shone through the darkness. That evening, Lumo found himself back at the observation window. The stars were bright, distant suns in an endless sea of space. He thought of his home world, of the council, of the lessons he had learned from Rin, Mara, and the humans around him. He whispered softly, translated by his device, I will remember, I will learn, I will grow. I will carry this knowledge back if the time comes, and I will share it carefully. Rin joined him, standing quietly. You have done more than survive, Lumo. You have embraced learning. That is true strength. Yes, Lumo said, his small voice firm. I understand now. Humans are powerful not just because of their bodies or tools, but because of their hearts and minds. They care, they choose, they protect, and they teach. That is a power my people have overlooked. Far away, the council continued to monitor him. Some members whispered to each other, uncertain, but unable to deny the change that had taken place. Lumo's courage and learning had begun to shift their thinking. A small ripple of possibility had been sent across the distance of space. Lumo turned back to the stars. He felt hope, curiosity, and determination all at once. He had survived the threat of memory erasure. He had learned lessons that no one could take from him, and he had seen the strength in choice and care. His journey was far from over, but he knew he was ready for whatever came next. The ship moved on through the vastness of space, carrying humans and aliens alike, lessons and courage, curiosity and care. Lumo's small hand rested on the glass as he watched the stars glide past, and he whispered once more, I will continue to learn. I will continue to grow. I will be strong, not alone, but through understanding and care. And somewhere, far across the galaxy, the ripple of Lumo's courage and the humans' teachings began to touch other worlds. A single spark of curiosity had become a light that might one day change everything. The journey of understanding, courage, and humanity had only just begun.